Imagine a nuclear facility buried so deep inside a mountain that even America's most powerful bunker-buster bombs might not be able to touch it. This is Fordow, Iran's ultra-secret nuclear site, a facility that U.S. generals have called a nightmare target. Some experts even argue that it could survive an all-out strike from America's stealth bombers. But if that's true, what does it mean for the future of the Middle East? Could Fordow become the flashpoint for the next Great War? Stay tuned, because in this video we're going to unpack everything you need to know: why Fordow terrifies Washington, how it changes the nuclear balance, and what would actually happen if the U.S. or Israel try to bomb it. To understand Fordow, we need to step back. Since the 1970s, Iran has pursued nuclear technology, at first with Western help, later in secret. After the Iran-Iraq War, Tehran doubled down, convinced that nuclear know-how could guarantee survival. But as international sanctions mounted, Iran shifted to building facilities that could resist any military strike. That's where Fordow comes in. Discovered by Western intelligence in 2009, it was a shock to the world. Hidden under a mountain near the holy city of Qom, Fordow wasn't just another enrichment plant. It was a symbol, Iran telling the world, even if you bomb us, you won't stop us. Why build it underground? Because Iran had already seen what airstrikes could do. In 1981, Israel destroyed Iraq's Osirak reactor in a daring raid. In 2007, Israel secretly hit Syria's Al-Kabar reactor. Tehran knew it was next on the list. So they built Fordow in one of the hardest-to-reach places on Earth. So what exactly is Fordow? Reports say it's buried 90 meters, almost 300 feet, beneath solid rock. To put that in perspective, that's like stacking the Statue of Liberty on top of itself 3 times, then covering it with concrete and granite. Inside, Fordow houses thousands of centrifuges, machines that spin uranium gas at incredible speeds, separating out the material that could be used for nuclear fuel or for weapons. The facility was originally designed for about 3,000 centrifuges, but Iran has upgraded it over time, moving toward advanced IR, 6 models that are much more efficient. The point is clear: Fordow isn't just a lab. It's a fortress for enrichment. Analysts warn that if Iran ever decides to race for a nuclear bomb, Fordow is the site that could make it possible. And here's the kicker: satellite images show multiple tunnel entrances and hardened doors. Even if the U.S. somehow bombed one entrance, Iran could keep using others. This is why experts say Fordow isn't just underground. It's redundant, layered, and built for survival. Now, the million-dollar question: can America destroy Fordow? The U.S. has developed a terrifying weapon for exactly this purpose: the GBU-57 Massive Ordnance Penetrator, or MOP. It's a 30,000-pound bomb, carried only by the B-2 Spirit stealth bomber. The MOP can burrow through 200 feet of reinforced concrete before detonating. Sounds unstoppable, right? But here's the catch: Fordow isn't just concrete. It's inside a mountain of rock. Analysts believe it's buried so deep that even multiple MOP strikes might not fully destroy it. At best, the U.S. could collapse some tunnels, maybe trap centrifuges, but not guarantee total elimination. That's why some generals admit privately that Fordow is almost bomb-proof. Israel, for its part, doesn't even have the MOP or the B-2 bomber. Their arsenal tops out with the smaller GBU-28 bunker busters, powerful, but nowhere near enough for Fordow. This means that if Israel ever tried to go it alone, they could strike above-ground infrastructure, but the heart of Fordow would likely survive. In other words, Fordow is the closest thing Iran has to an insurance policy against airstrikes. So what does this mean for geopolitics? For Israel, Fordow is the red line. Leaders from Netanyahu to Bennett have warned that a nuclear-armed Iran is unacceptable. But they also know Fordow makes a quick strike nearly impossible. That forces Israel to rely more on the U.S., and Washington isn't always on the same page. For the U.S., Fordow creates a nightmare scenario. On one hand, Washington insists all options are on the table. On the other hand, military planners admit that those options might not work. That leaves diplomacy, sanctions, and cyber attacks. Remember the famous Stuxnet virus that sabotaged Iranian centrifuges in 2010? But cyber warfare is a temporary fix. Fordow still stands. Meanwhile, Russia and China quietly benefit. Both oppose U.S. strikes on Iran, both trade with Tehran, and both could use Fordow as leverage in their own great power games. If America looks weak against Fordow, Moscow and Beijing can point to it as proof that U.S. military dominance isn't absolute. And let's not forget the people of Iran. For them, Fordow is a source of pride, a symbol of defiance against outside pressure. But it's also a risk. Every time tensions flare, ordinary Iranians live under the shadow of war. So let's imagine the unthinkable. What if the U.S. or Israel decided to strike Fordow?
Finally, we have compare and contrast almost everything on the table with our great analyst. Check it out in part 2. Thanks for watching.